from Concord 9th, here to show you some exciting new products in our new release. Here we have 3 products that are coordinated to go together. We have an amazing photopolymer stamp that has large sentiments perfect for filling up a card front, making it quick and easy to make amazing cards. We also are introducing something new for us. We have a 2-pack stencil pack as well as a pattern paper stack. And these are all designed to go together in a really fun and creative way. So I'm going to show you how they all work together. First, I'm going to show you the paper. Now the paper, you do get multiples of each sheet, so I'm just going to show you the patterns. And on the front side, you have, this is the cover sheet, on the front side, you have pages that are intended to work with the stencil. So you've got these open spots, and I'm going to show you how you can customize and add some color. I'll just flip through these really quick. Isn't that beautiful? This one looks a little different before you add ink, but it's really fun after. Same with this one. Another one. So all of the fronts are designed to work with the stencils, but if we flip them over, all of the backs are really strong, just great standalone patterns that can be used in a variety of ways. So you have the front if you want to add some custom color, but you also have the back sides if you just want something quick and easy with no fuss of pulling out your stencils. So it gives you lots of options. Now, what I love about this pack is how it plays off the trend of combining stripes and floral. It's just so hot right now. And this allows you to add any color of floral that you want. One quick side note on your front cover sheet that comes with your stack of paper, make sure you don't throw it away because we've actually given you a little bonus pattern. So you went from 24 sheets of paper to actually 25 because you have this really wide, beautiful stripe that you're not going to want to throw away. So make sure you use that. So I'm going to show you how these stencils work now. Now the stencils come in a 2-pack and they're designed to work together but can also work independently. So we have one that is the full flower, and it's a little hard to see because it's white, but I'm going to lay it over the paper and show you. And then you have a second stencil, so it's kind of a multi-step stencil, and it has the detail of the flower. So we're going to start with this sheet of paper. Now I've picked this one because it is one of my favorites, but it's really nice because it doesn't actually utilize the whole thing. And so when I lay my stencil over it, I'm only going to be using the stencil part where these white flowers are showing. Anywhere that stripes are showing through my stencil, I'm not going to worry about. Some of the other patterns, when you lay the stencil over, you're going to see empty spots in all of the openings of the stencil, but I'm going to just show you this one. So the stencil's a little bit smaller than the paper. What's great about that is when I use my Post-it tape to stick my stencil down so it stays in place, it grips just a little bit of the paper and it's going to keep it in place. Now I'm going to use my dauber on this one, and I'm just going to use a little bit of ink, and I'm just going to start filling in where there's openings and it's white underneath. So the stencil just masks the rest of the paper because I don't want pink everywhere. So I'm just going to fill that in. I can go maybe a little darker at the bottom if I want. I could even do multiple colors if I wanted to have a multiple color flower. And I'm just going to go through and I'm going to do the whole thing. So everywhere that there's some open white, I'm just going to add in a little ink. You can make it as dark as you want. Okay, so if I did the whole thing through the magic of television, after I've done the whole thing with my stencil, this is what I'm going to end up with. So I'm going to end up with color on all of those open flowers. Now I'm going to lay in the second part. So I'm going to take my second stencil that's the detail, and I'm going to just layer that right over in the same location. I'm going to put my tape down again. Got my tape over here. And now I'm going to use a little bit of a darker color of ink. So I used a light pink. I'm going to go in and I'm going to add some detail with my dark pink. And again, I'm going to just go right over the stencil. The stencil masks everything, so I don't have to be very careful. You can do it as dark or as light as you want. Or we're just adding a little bit of dimension and kind of just that multi-step layer that sometimes you get with stamps, but now we're going to get it with stencils, and it's really, really easy. So I'm going to do all of that. I'm just going to stencil that in. I would do everywhere that I did my light pink flowers. And after I've filled those all in, I'm going to end up with this beautiful piece of paper. Isn't that gorgeous? I've customized it. I've added in some dimension. Really, really beautiful. And you can just cut that down into a card. You're going to be able to stamp one of those large sentiments. I'll bring the stamp back in and show you. Just stamp it directly over the paper. There's no need to mat or anything. Just put it right on. That's a really, really pretty look. And you have got quick and easy cards. And I can do any color of flower that I need and that I want with those stencils. Really, really fun. So I'm going to show you kind of a finished sample. Now this is using one of the other papers, but it's still one that has it in the corner. So it just stamp right on top of the pattern paper. It's gorgeous. And you have a wonderful, quick and easy card. I'm going to show you how the stencils work with just one more sheet out of the pack. Now this sheet, if you remember, was one of the sheets that we said was a front side that was intended for stenciling, and you can use it just the way it is. It's beautiful. It's just a line art flower. You could do different coloring techniques, but you are it is designed to work with stencils as well. This one though, unlike some of the other patterns, is meant to be a little bit more of an irregular, so that's why I wanted to show it to you. It's not meant to perfectly align with the line art. It's meant to give kind of that soft, imperfect watercolor look. But again, I'm just going to tape that down. Make sure your tape isn't overlapping anywhere on the stencil that you want to color. I'm going to take my dauber again, and I'm just going to fill it in. So I'm just going to not worry about it being perfect. One tip when you're laying these stencils down, if you're having a hard time aligning them on any of the sheets, if you pick opposing corners and make sure those are lined up, it usually helps everything else kind of fall into place. But on this one particular sheet, it's meant to be a little more imperfect. So even if you don't get it exactly how we intended, it's going to look great because it's just meant to give kind of a soft look. So I would do the whole thing like that, and after I did the whole thing like that, and had I started in yellow, this is the look that I'm going to get with that. Isn't that beautiful? Just laying in the color. You can go a little darker where you want, lighter on the edges, and it's ready to turn into a card or another craft. So really, really pretty. You can even do two colors with the same stencil. So in this one, I first did a pink, and then just kind of on the edges, I went back and put in a little bit of a light orange to just give a little bit more interest and do a two-tone flower. So really you can do it however you would like. You can even use the stencil that's intended to give more detail without the full flower and add just a little bit of color for just a really subtle highlight. So on this one, I used, I'll bring it back in, I used this stencil on it and just added that little bit of highlight. Instead of covering the whole flower, I just used the detail portion. So lots of options. Really, it's up to you. You can customize. I do want to show you a card that was made using this particular sheet of paper because it's just so pretty. So this one, we only used the detail, but we did it in a few different colors just to add a little pop of color. And then again, stamped one of those large sentiments directly on the front of that pattern paper. It's so fun to just stamp that in a bold color, and it's quick and it's easy. So I love, love, love these products because of how wonderful they look and how quick and easy it is to get there. I want to show you just a couple more things with this. One of the other techniques that you can do, I've been using the sponge daubers. This was done with a sponge brayer. So this was the speedball brayer but with a sponge attachment. It gives a similar but just a little bit of a different look, and it's actually very quick and easy, a little quicker than the daubers if you're doing a sheet where the stencil overlays the full thing. So I went through and I did a lighter color first, and then I went back through with the detail and added just a tonal color just a little bit darker, and now this would be perfect for making a card. You can also use these stencils and the paper with texture paste or embossing paste. So you're going to do it the same way. This sample, and I know it's a little bit hard to see the texture, but hopefully you can see these flowers were done in white texture paste. So I overlaid the large stencil, did the texture paste in white. After it was dry, I laid the stencil back down and I used a dauber and some ink and just added a little color to my texture paste. And then I laid the detail stencil over that and just used ink again. So first the embossing paste in white. After it dried, then I added a little bit of color and added the second two-step detail as well. So you can use them in so many ways, and while it's a little bit hard to see on camera, in person it just adds that extra texture and dimension when you use the paste and works perfect with the stencils. I want to just show you one last sample that doesn't use the stencils, but it just uses the stamp. Now this card uses the pattern paper that really was intended where you didn't have to use the stencil, but you can certainly still stamp on it, as you can see here. We have taken the flower out of the stamp set, bring that back over, as well as one of the sentiments. So if you don't want to pull out your stencils and that kind of thing, you can just pull out your ink pads, pull out your stamp set, stamp right on the pattern paper for a really nice look as well. Now, one thing to note with your stencils, if you're using them with ink or texture paste, they're going to wash off with water. With texture paste, you don't want to wait too long or it's going to be a little bit trickier to clean them off, but ink just rinses right off with some water. So just rinse them off in the sink. So I hope you have enjoyed this video and you were as excited as I am about using stencils with pattern paper and with stamp sets. You can create so many different custom looks, and it's quick and it's easy. If you like these products and you'd like to purchase, visit us at concord9th.com and feel free to like this video, share this video, follow us on Instagram. We love seeing what you're making as well. Thanks. Have a great day.